Shalom, call halal, YAHAWASHI, Bahashim Rakak. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity. To the confusion of faith brothers joining unto our ranks. To the hopefully elect, the AHBAD that are listening and learning. To you I say shalom. This is a video about the upcoming riots, the famine, the race riots that are beginning to plague the world. This prophecy is playing out, and it's just a matter of time before it gets here to America. You know, just watched the video that a brother did about Saturnalia and how the Purge movies was basically based upon that's what happened during Saturnalia, which you worship today as Christmas. It was a week of when you were free in Rome to commit any forms of wickedness, including murder and rape, and you were not held accountable for it. That was a part of the Saturnalia celebration. And it's funny how right here, this Ark of Titus right here that you see behind, where when the earth was given into the hands of the wicked, Job 9:24, that chaos is breaking out in these areas, you know, because France was one of the key cities that was established, you know, after after the Roman Empire. All right, they got this Ark of Titus, which was dedicated, and there's a couple different ones, and even a couple of replicas here in America, and you see semblance of it. There's even one here in Chicago that's kind of mimicking it, but that's basically the celebration of the taking down of Judah, of the Southern Kingdom. But everything's coming to fruition. So real quick, let me start with a scripture. And the first scripture is going to be John, the 16th chapter, the 20th, starting at the 20th verse. And it reads, "Verily I say unto you, that ye shall weep and lament, but the world shall rejoice." What world is going to rejoice? The world of Israel. And ye shall be sorrowful, but your sorrow will be turned into joy. A woman, when she is in travail, have sorrow, because her hour is come. But as soon as she is delivered of the child, she remembereth no more the anguish for the joy that a man is born into the world. All right? So this is going to be a joyous thing. Even though it's going to be horrific, it's going to be a joyous thing for the Israelites that are of the elect that make it through this. Because all this is going to be like a bad dream that goes away. All right, so without any further ado, let's let this video play.
If you've missed it, or if you are unaware, all hell has been breaking loose inside of France. We have also had chaos breaking loose in other countries in Europe, including Belgium. And the situation in France hitting new levels as the chaos just continues to spill out into the streets. Over the weekend, we had witnessed these clashes between what they're calling the Yellow Vest movement and these militarized police. Now, we also had witnessed snipers on rooftops. I had tweeted out the video clips of them in position on the rooftops while all this is going on. And for those wondering why the Yellow Vest and what it represents, the Yellow Vest is something that almost everyone in France has to keep in their vehicle in case of an emergency. Meaning that if there's some kind of emergency, your car breaks down on the side of the road, you get out, you're supposed to put on one of these yellow reflective vests so that people can identify that you need help, so on and so forth. But these people, the people of France that are being labeled demonstrators, it's people in mass. And they're even stating here, left and right, together on this. Coming out in mass And they're saying that it was sparked by the talk of a fuel hike and higher taxes. I'm being told by others that live there that it has to do with a lot more than that, that it has to do with taxes through and through across the board, cost of living, the way things are going down, period, in the country. People are extremely upset. And there's a lot of different factors that they're not even mentioning. In terms of political moves, political people that are...
And I'm going to pause it right there. You see, the Europeans, you're witnessing the fall of Esau in the place where they established their dominance. It's falling literally right before your eyes. Okay, and it does, and you know, for all you scoffers that LOL, Esau's falling, LOL, you know, LMAO. It's a gradual thing. 2015, there was 40,000 suicides by Edomites who supposedly showed no signs of mental illness, and they were dying by guns they were shooting themselves. So what you're witnessing is that curses fall upon Esau, and he was blessed with the sword. And the modern day sword, well, any weapon is a sword, and Esau was blessed with that weaponry. And the most used and the common modern day sword is the firearm. All right, which is being used. Esau's turning on himself. Why? Because of disparity. Americans are docile. One of the reasons Americans are so docile is because of the diet. I'm sick right now, fighting a cold. I'm feeling a lot better than I did yesterday and the day before. But Americans are really sick collectively. And the ones that are sick are fat and obese, man. Hypertension and diabetes is across board, across all races in America. All right? If you're out in public, out of 10 people, like half of them are fat. They're overweight. And a lot of the things that they're putting in the food are making us docile over here. Because every time these Europeans, when their leaders screw up and screw them over, those people riot. They do not play around. Americans are very, very docile, and basically Americans is just bend over and take it. But eventually, America's gonna break. And when these things that's been happening in France come to America, man. All right, this is 2 Ezra 16 and 14. Behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. The fire is kindled, and it shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth. And France has been burning for the last 3 weeks, man. And you had a whole city burn up in California. Hell, multiple cities over the last couple years. Who knows how many billions of dollars worth of damage have been done, how many lives have been lost. The last count for Paradise, there was the last count that I recall was 680 some people were unaccounted, were missing. And you know it's more than that. They're never gonna know exactly how many people died and who died. And then shortly after that, what happened? After all that foliage burned up, the mudslides came, just like we said. All right? So this place is going down, man. And eventually all this is going to lead to World War III. All right? And when World War III starts, enter YAHAWASHI and the mighty angels. And it's over for Esau, Edom. This is verse 16. Like an arrow which is shot out of a mighty archer returneth not backward, even so the plague shall be sent upon the earth, shall not return again. Woe is me, woe is me. Who will deliver me in those days? That's also proving to you that Ezra was there. Is here now. Because when he saw this vision, he saw himself there. So some of these people, one of these brothers that's out on the highways and byways, not you studio, radio show, keyboard warriors, but the men who go out on the highways and byways, among them is Ezra. And so is Daniel and many of the other prophets. Because the spirit of the prophets is subject to the prophets.
Doing things out here in the realm, the different groups, who's organizing the groups, who's orchestrating the stuff out here. And a lot are saying that they're seeing just everyday people joining these groups because once people at home have no milk, they have no gas to get to work, they then find themselves in a position to where they're stuck too, and they're going to join the fight. So it's been fueling that.
They're going to join the fight, but they're also going to knock their neighbor over the head. All right? This is 2 Ezra 16 and 31. Even so in those days, there shall be 3 or 4 left by them that search their houses with the sword. So they'll be going door to door with swords, with guns, trying to get food, water, supplies. And while they getting it, they're going to help themselves to your women, to your wives, your daughters, your aunts, your friends, your cousins. And the earth shall be laid waste, and the fields thereof shall wax old, and her ways and all her paths shall grow full of thorns, because no man shall travel. So these cities are going to become deserted, and they're just going to be battlegrounds, man. You're going to have marauders everywhere, like in, watch the movie Book of Eli, or the movie The Road, or even The Walking Dead. The survivors are what? They're always killing each other, fighting over food, water, resources, women, guns, weapons. All right? All these, Esau is basically preparing you for this, whether you realize it or not. That's why they have so much predictive programming, so many movies on the subject.
And at this point, this is where it sits. I wanted to put some clarity out there as to what was happening here with all the yellow jackets, what it was representative of. They're saying they're on the cusp of a state of emergency at this point because things have gotten out of control here. But this is a look at what is happening in France. Wanted to give some updated info, explain a few things. I'll continue to update if things continue to spiral out of control here. I'll leave a link below. Make sure to follow me on Twitter for more as well. It's been Dabu7.
All right, and it doesn't end there. All right, Dabu7 is on point with his research and what he does, man. But here's another video that the brother Kowal, one of the head brothers of the Evanston camp here in Chicago, posted into the group me, and I watched it and I was like, I have to use this video, and here it is.
I got a question for you, General. In the event of a revolution, do you think the military would turn on the U.S. people?
That's been asked me a number of times. My answer to that would be the hierarchy of the government would not stand by the Constitution necessarily, but would stand by...
They're not standing by the Constitution now. Americans and American citizens are being judged in courtrooms by UCC laws, which override the Constitution. All right? That's why they can charge you so many fees and lock you up and do whatever they want. Because there are thousands upon thousands upon thousands of UCC codes. All right? And they'll find one or two to put you to. And UCC codes are often done in the color of law. They do things that are not even actual law, but they apply it as if it is law. And if you don't know that, you can't challenge it. So Americans, a lot of the military guys are waking up, as the general is going to tell you.
The political chain of command. We know the Marines and the Special Operations Forces for sure will stand by the American people, whether the file and the ranks of all the services.
And that's why they're going to, and the Bible even tells you how they're going to send the North Army far off. So when the chaos breaks out here, they're going to make sure the majority of the Marines are overseas anyway. So they're not going to be here to try and put the Constitution back into place and try to protect American citizens. They're going to be overseas fighting fake wars, which they know, which is why you have this this low morale and the issues of coups being formed by high-ranking officers throughout Esau's military system.
Would stand by the Constitution and the people is a big question. But I think what's going on, our military is awakening. They see these rules of engagement and the misdiagnosis of the enemy. The lack of proper strategy and tactics to win and come back home is there. The troops know that. And I learned that at West Point. The troops always know. The leaders sometimes don't know.
We've already had it.
Yeah, no one is stupid, man. All right? No one is stupid at all. A lot of these guys are waking up to the bullshit, man. These weapons of mass destruction that never existed. All right? And watching their fellow military men die. All right, and I can't speak for the other branches of service, but I was in the Marine Corps, man. And I know how Marines feel about the other Marines, man. And a lot of Marines, they're loyal to the Corps. They're loyal to the brothers, man. They may not be loyal to the country, but they're loyal to the Marine Corps, man. All right? They take a vow, country this, and then the Marine Corps, but they're going to be loyal to the Marines, man. This is the way those guys are, man. That's the way they were trained.
Attempted coup. When Ambassador Stevens was murdered, General Ham, at the time, he was the head of AFRICOM, was launching a rescue mission with commando troops. And Admiral Guyette, who was the commander of Carrier Task Force 3 in the area, he was providing surveillance, he was providing air cover and intelligence.
You will never hear movies about these guys that he's mentioning right now. They won't make movies about them. They'll make a movie about some guy, make him a hero that was in a land where he didn't belong, where he was the insurgent shooting people trying to defend their own land. All right, because you over there on false pretenses. But what you're hearing now, there's not going to be any movies about it. All right?
Both men were arrested by their number 2. I don't know about the number 2.
Did you hear that? They were both top commanders were arrested by the 2 men under them, and he's going to tell you why.
Behind Guyette, but I was able to find out about the number 2 behind Ham. His name was Colonel Rodriguez. He was a member of the CIA. He stepped in and stopped this attempt. Now, the overall plan did not end there. And I want to talk about the significance of this. You've got the head of AFRICOM, and you've got the head of Carrier Task Force 3. You've got 2 of the top 4 military commanders in the region. And if you recall your history at that time, we were on the verge of taking on Syria and Iran. No pretenses. We were making noise.
See? And they didn't want to see their soldiers dying for nothing, man. No pretenses. Like, why are we going with these people? We're going to war with people that we have nothing to do with. All right? They know that the men over them are corrupt. And what are they doing this for? They're doing this for the Israelis. You know, that $7,000 a minute that welfare is going to them now. They're saying $38 billion. So it was $6 billion a year. Now it's going to $38 billion. $7,000 a minute. You know, that devil that just died made a statement. George H.W. Bush, he said something to the effect that if the American people were to wake up to what they were really doing, they would chase them down in the streets and lynch them. And it's true. You know, the fires are already kindled, man.
Provoking moves, trying to get the other side.
Wow, then a lynch. I had no idea that was.
So this was considered to be a war zone, and you had 2 of the top 4 military commanders conspiring to disobey a direct presidential directive to not intervene in Benghazi. Had Ambassador Stevens been rescued and the plot was able to be revealed for all to see, the Watergate of all time, if you will, that would have been the toppling of the Obama administration.
Wow.
And a bloodless military coup that would have been carried out through legal impeachment and probably imprisonment of this president.
Yeah, and if that would have happened, America would have failed right there, but it wasn't time. But and matter of fact, Hillary Clinton probably would have went to prison right along with Obama if that would have actually happened.
264, and that's my latest count, of senior command military officers fired by the Obama administration. Isn't it interesting that not one of them is going on Fox? Not one of them is writing a book. Not one of them is trying to cash in on their fame and fortune as a general and trying to basically make political hay against this president. They're strangely quiet because they're joining a movement. But before a coup can be initiated, Obama is going to initiate his own false flag, and then the games are going to begin. Last May, Treasury Secretary Jack Lew came out and said, we're going to take some federal retirement accounts for protective purposes, take the money for safekeeping, and eventually we'll just give it back. Move forward into last year, we got confirmation that MF Global will never be punished in terms of what John Corzine did, because that follows that principle of 90% of the law is your own possession of that money. The principle has been set. With the stroke of a pen, we've seen almost 18% of the economy under the Affordable Care Act transitioning into control by the government, control of small business functioning, control of who your doctor is, control of all prices related to health care. MIRA, coming on the heels of the Affordable Care Act, will follow the same pattern. And what we're going to see is there's going to be a crisis, and then there's going to be the rollout of mandatory MIRA, and the governments who are broke are going to take more and more of our money. Effectively, we are going to become slave labor, where everything we earn is subject to confiscation from the government.
We're on the verge of that. In a sense, that's happening already. And everything that we have earned can be confiscated by the government. They can commandeer your bank accounts, and they will. They've already been taken out of retirement funds. There's going to be no retirement, no SSN, no SSI for these people that are retiring, man. You're going to have even more suicides. A lot of these baby boomers are about to retire, and their money's going to be gone.
Stock market compared now to 1928, 1929, there's not a lot of difference. And if there's a stock market crash and the government starts grabbing funds, that explains the 2.2 billion rounds of DHS acquired ammunition.
You hear that? Department of Homeland Security bought 2 billion rounds. Matter of fact, of hollow points. Bullets that you can't even use in war. They bought for the citizens here in America because they know what's happening in France is coming here. It's going to eventually happen. It's going to break out. And then you're also going to have your racial climb. That race war between Jacob and Esau and everybody else in between, that's going to go down too.
To go with their 2,700 armored personnel carriers to the Russians that are training in the streets of America, training in specialized camps.
See, so all these foreign soldiers are going to be coming through these streets, and they're going to be snatching your weaves off. They're going to be kicking in your doors, raping, robbing you. They're going to be marauding like watching one of them old Viking movies, man. Okay, that's exactly what they're going to do. And they're going to make, and the majority of your military is going to be overseas fighting a fake war. And that's the plan. Send them off to war, and then this thing happens.
And this is also why I've talked to 2 of the fire generals, and what they have told me, some of these generals are actually talking about initiating a guerrilla resistance that will end up being a civil war in this scenario that they're talking about. So I do think we're going to see bloodshed in the streets. I think we're going to see DHS and the Russians and what other blue helmets are in this country against the American.
Now, they just showed you all those Moabite troops, man. There was some Moabites that contacted the brother Uriah a couple years back, and they were even using their technology to play with his phone bill and his gas bill at his house. And they left threatening messages how they want to kick in his door and all this stuff and torture and kill him and that sort of thing. And how he's going to love, matter of fact, let me take that back a little bit, how they're going to love killing you Negroes, man. So you guys, so all you scoffers on the comment board, you have no idea what's coming for you. And the difference being that the men of the Lord are going to have that protection and that power. The rest of you are not going to have that, man. These when these troops are going to have their way with you. These guys right here. All right? These guys right here, man. Okay? They're going to fix bayonets. They don't have their bayonets on now. Matter of fact, they even mentioned that in this video. Just for the sake of time, I don't want it to be too long, because I know how much of a short attention span Jacob has. But they talk about all the bayonets that were given to the police departments. What do you think they're going to use them for? All right? This is 2 Ezra 15 and 15. For the sword in their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up against and fight against another, and swords in their hands, like you see on the screen. For there shall be sedition among men, all right, going against the government, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their hand. All right? So you're going to have checkpoints, martial law, you're going to have time limits, and you're going to have soldiers ripping and running through the streets, doing whatever the hell they want. All right? So with that, I hope this was an edifying lesson. Call halal YAHAWASHI, BASHAM RAKAKWADASH. Hold on, brothers. We're almost out of here. Shalom.